The city did not sleep that night. By sunrise, the story had spread everywhere. Television networks replayed the same footage again and again. The collapsed Riverside building, emergency crews digging through broken concrete, flashing lights in the rain, and above the images, the headline repeated across every screen. Major financier linked to ignored safety warnings. Daniel Mercer. Inside small cafes, people whispered about it over morning coffee. Inside offices, an employees refreshed financial news feeds. Inside taxis, radio hosts debated the story loudly. Everyone had an opinion, but almost no one knew the truth. Inside his high-rise office, Daniel Mercer stood silently near the glass window. The city stretched endlessly beneath him. Cars moved through the streets like streams of light. But Daniel wasn't looking at them. He was thinking. Behind him, Elena sat at the long conference table with her laptop open. Numbers moved rapidly across the screen. On stock prices, market reactions, losses. Finally, she spoke. Another 6% drop. Daniel didn't turn around. That's expected. Elena watched him carefully. You sound calm. Daniel's voice remained steady. Panic helps whoever is doing this. She closed the laptop slowly. You're certain someone is orchestrating it? Daniel turned. I'm certain. A moment of silence passed. Then Elena asked the question both of them had been thinking. Do you know who? Daniel looked back toward the city. No. A pause. But whoever it is, his voice hardened slightly. They're patient. Across the city, Charlotte hadn't slept. The message on her phone felt like it was burning through the screen. She stared at it again. The photo of her car, parked outside her apartment, taken only minutes before it was sent, then the message beneath it. Be careful who you trust. Her stomach tightened. Whoever sent it wanted her to know something. They wanted her afraid. Charlotte walked slowly toward the window. Morning light had begun creeping into the street. People were leaving for work, and traffic was starting. But something else caught her attention. Across the road, the black sedan, the same one from yesterday, parked, engine running, lights off. Charlotte stepped away from the window. Her phone rang. Michael. She answered immediately. Tell me you found something. I did, Michael said. Her voice tightened. The server? Yes. What happened? Michael hesitated before answering. Someone accessed it again last night. Charlotte felt a chill. Looking for what? Your files. Her fingers tightened around the phone. They're trying to see what I know. Exactly. Charlotte looked back toward the window again. The sedan was still there, still waiting. They're watching me. Michael's voice became serious. Charlotte, listen to me. What? You need to leave your apartment. Back at Daniel's office, the federal investigators returned. This time there were more of them. More folders. More questions. They sat across from Daniel at the conference table. The lead investigator spoke calmly. We've been reviewing the Riverside approval process, Daniel nodded. And? There are irregularities. The investigator slid a document across the table. Daniel read it silently. Internal safety reports, submitted 2 weeks before project approval, on warnings about structural weaknesses. Daniel looked up slowly. But these reports never reach my office. The investigator leaned forward slightly. That's what we're trying to determine. Daniel folded his hands on the table. And you believe I ignored them? The investigator did not answer immediately. We're exploring all possibilities. Daniel studied the man carefully. Then he spoke. You're asking the wrong question. The investigator raised an eyebrow. Well, what question should we be asking? Daniel's voice became colder. Who removed those reports before they reached me? Silence filled the room. The investigators exchanged glances. The lead agent finally spoke. You believe someone intercepted them? Daniel nodded once. Yes? And why would someone do that? Daniel looked directly at him. To make this moment possible, across town, the mechanic wiped grease from his hands. The garage was unusually quiet. Customers had been nervous since the city inspection notice arrived. People didn't like businesses connected to scandals, even if the connection didn't make sense. The mechanic walked toward the small office corner of the garage. The inspection notice still lay on the desk. Bright red stamp. Warning. He sighed. Then his phone buzzed. A message from a friend. You see the news? A Mercer investigation getting crazy. The mechanic shook his head. He didn't care much about billionaires and politicians. But something about the story bothered him, especially when he remembered Charlotte, her car, her nervous expression, and the black sedan parked down the street that night. The mechanic looked toward the security monitor connected to the garage cameras. A thought crossed his mind. He sat down and began scrolling through the old footage. Rain filled the screen, and streetlights reflected across wet pavement. Charlotte's car appeared. Then another vehicle, parked farther down the road. Black sedan, engine running. The mechanic leaned closer. The car stayed there for 40 minutes, watching, waiting. The mechanic whispered quietly, "That's not normal." Charlotte packed quickly, laptop, documents, clothes, only the essentials. Her phone vibrated again. Another message from the unknown number. She opened it slowly. "You're moving." Her blood ran cold. They were watching her in real time. Another message appeared seconds later. "You should stay where you are." Charlotte's fear slowly turned into anger. "No." She whispered it to herself. "They don't get to control me." She grabbed her keys and stepped outside. The cold air hit her face. Mine across the street, the black sedan immediately started its engine. Charlotte's heart pounded as she entered her car. She started driving. Within seconds, the sedan pulled into traffic behind her. Back in Daniel's office, Elena rushed in holding her laptop. "You need to see this." Daniel looked up. "What happened?" She turned the screen toward him. Charts filled the display. Daniel studied them carefully. "My company's stock is falling?" "Yes." "But someone is buying." Elena nodded. Quietly, Daniel leaned closer. "Who?" "The purchases are being made through multiple shell companies." Daniel understood immediately. So someone crashes my company and then buys it while the price collapses." Elena finished the thought. "Yes." Daniel stood slowly. "So the Riverside scandal isn't just revenge." "No. It's a corporate takeover." Elena looked at him. "And it's already happening." Rain had started again. Charlotte drove through the crowded city streets. Her hands tightened around the steering wheel. In her rearview mirror, the black sedan followed. Never too close, never too far, just enough. Her phone rang. Michael. "They're following me." "Where are you?" She told him the street. Michael's voice became tense. "Charlotte, don't go home." "I'm not." "Then where?" Charlotte stared at the road ahead. Her answer came quietly. "To someone who might help." In a dark office across the city, several monitors glowed softly. One displayed the investigation. Another showed Daniel's building. The third showed Charlotte's moving car. A shadowed figure watched everything. Calmly. Carefully. Another voice spoke from the darkness. "They're reacting exactly as predicted." The first voice responded. "Good." "Mercer is under investigation." "And Charlotte is exposed." The second voice smiled faintly. "Now phase 1 is complete." The screen switched to financial charts, stock transfers, ownership percentages. The first voice spoke again. "When the market opens tomorrow." The second voice leaned closer. "What happens tomorrow?" The answer came quietly. Daniel Mercer will wake up. Without control of his own empire, the monitors continued glowing in the darkness, and somewhere across the city, the trap continued closing. Like, comment, and subscribe for next episode.